Hello, human being, human, mortal, person, soul, Homo sapien, earthling, higher animal, living person. Welcome to part 2. In case you're inept, enjoy this greatest hits audio reel from part 1.
Innovative, challenging, polarizing, and legendary. And you have this band, Metallica.
Metallica.
So this is probably the first thing that I ever heard from them.
Tell your mom I said hello, okay?
Yeah, I just figured they were just like...
I couldn't be further from the truth.
Right? I'm telling you right now, I'm a dummy.
Cool. So yeah, Metallica and I go deep.
Not everybody gets to have heavy metal pedigree like
Okay,
Michael Green.
Now I'm confused. These are the two that decided to collaborate for this album, LuLu, that we were going to review.
Oh, man.
Good gravy.
Like Frantic TikTok? Or
TikTok.
TikTok! He could hold a tune.
Well, not really. You're right. He probably wasn't doing that.
Fuck you. I'm like, fuck you.
That's
See?
Lars.
I'm a Metallica fan.
Yes.
I have to expect this now.
Right.
Someone might like that. I doubt it.
What? That's just a random knock on Bieber?
Yes.
Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Ooh, yeah, yeah, ooh.
By the way, those oohs and yes, that's not James.
Is it Jim Brewer or something? It is Jim Brewer.
Doesn't Bowie just seem like a sweetheart?
Yeah,
like
Bowie does, man.
Mikey, will you be that good of a friend to me?
I know.
If I put out an album like
I probably will not.
I hate Bruno Mars, so I don't know. I hate Bruno Mars because he's too talented, okay? I'm a hater because he's too talented.
So glad you clarified, because Bruno Mars is so good.
Of course he is, and I hate him for it.
I do hate him too.
Oh, here we go.
There's James.
I am the tablet.
I am the tablet.
I am the iPad.
I am the wooden platform on which you consume breakfast food.
That was dumb.
Because like the guys in Anthrax
Would
and
just
Motley
think
Crue
you're
would
just wimps with your
just
short
make
hair.
fun of you. Are you sure it's called Puppy Blood?
Puppy blood.
Puppy Blood.
Puppy blood.
Come on, James.
Come on, James. I said prostitute, James.
Come on, James. And James doesn't do anything.
Colored man's dick stuff. As a brown dude,
Yeah.
if I'm there, I don't know. I'd like to think I would step to Lou Reed.
Jack, I beseech you. What the fuck? F-O-C-K.
It's okay. It's all right. It's okay.
You made Lars cry, man.
Can you ever find it in the cockles of your heart to forgive me?
It's like an AIDS test. What's the result?
Why is Nas trying to get in on
I
our
don't know
podcast?
why Nas keeps jumping into
This is Metallica.
podcast.
Nasir.
Not positive.
If you don't get it, put your Poison and Def Leopard back on play. I'm in the job. Come on, James. Lars
Stupid
rocks.
haters. Don't hate on Lars. Not in the presence of the Check the Credits crew, okay?
Right? This has been Michael with Pillow Talk.
They make you bend over, man.
Like,
When do I get a chance to fucking rebut?
It's quite awful throughout the entire record, but this one is so bad. Best metal album
so
since
much
Tool.
better than Colonel Sanders.
Lou's vocals are particularly bad on this one.
He seems like a curmudgeon. Like,
We'll have fun. We'll look at each other and laugh.
The official nutting song.
So you never know, man. You really do never know.
And now, enjoy number 2. How about Cheat on Me?
Hey there. If you want to listen to this clip, you're gonna have to go download the album. If you dare. It's pretty shitty. Hence the purpose of this podcast. Anyway, back to the show.
Nearly 11 and a half minutes long. This one was exhausting. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like an on-the-spot improv track. I don't know how many times the words cheat on me are spoken or sung, but it's a lot. But it's a lot. It's it's a nonsense song, if you can even call it that.
I mean, I'm not mad at the sentiment. I think I say those words every time I eat fast food.
Yeah.
I feel like I just did something like
In tears?
cheating on myself.
Are you singing? When you say it, isn't it in pitch though? Like, is it on pitch?
There's usually like half a Whopper.
Right.
Like,
So there's a fry in your lap,
there's like,
covered in
like,
pepper.
It's just a mess, so I can't
because
say
you put pepper on your fries.
I can't say it's a. Doesn't everybody?
and you say, "Why did she?" Are you looking for the key? Like, what's happening with?
No, I can't say that I'm in key.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any comments on "Cheat on Me," Sammy? I hated this song.
Yeah,
It was awful.
mean, if you wanted to try to break it down,
You know what? You just play the clip again. Maybe it will be convinced. It's 11 and a half minutes long, dude.
Wow.
Like, it is an uphill climb to get through this song.
So some of the sentiments in this song, he says, "I have many hearts to break and many, many, many more to take." So he knows he's breaking the hearts of his fans with this record.
Now, keep in mind, this is
but
all
he
based on
knows-
German plays.
Yeah, I know. So it probably means nothing.
It probably means nothing to us.
I was just trying to say that maybe he knows that ultimately his classic material will keep people coming back, but he knows he can kind of treat people like garbage, which is the opposite of Metallica, because as much as they try to push their audience,
Yeah.
you know they love. I don't think there's any other band who's
They're
ever
so good to their fans.
proven their love.
They're
to
so
their
good to
fans.
their fans.
Yeah.
Just in terms of output, of if
Get the
like,
funk out.
they're constantly putting. What's Gary doing here?
Sorry, so unprofessional.
YouTube comments. Jesus, my Lord, but with a Z. 1 year ago, says, "This is one of the songs you sit or lay on your bed, feeling nothing except that ugly bad feeling in your guts that tells you everything you need to know about you and your life. And this song, and every note of it fits you perfectly."
Okay.
Wow. It means a lot to Jesus, my Lord.
With a Z.
With a Z? Sandro Enema, 2 years ago, says, unfortunately, metalheads are too dumb to understand the greatness of this song.
Wow.
Now, I would consider you a metalhead.
No doubt.
Because your wank meter
No doubt.
is... So I'm kind of a metal guy,
Yeah.
and I'm too dumb to understand the
You're
greatness
just too
of this
dumb.
song. Yep, too dumb.
We're just two dumb metal heads.
Yeah, we don't get it. Singing on pitch, it's not required for metal. Z-Docta, 5 years ago, says, "I guess the good thing about a song is you can do other stuff while listening, so it's not a complete waste of time." Z-Docta.
That is the greatest,
Yeah.
most positive spin.
It's so good. Like, it's words of wisdom.
It's words of wisdom. You're efficient with your time.
Yeah.
You're multitasking.
Yeah,
You don't get mad.
You don't sit on your futon with Burger King garbage on your lap listening to Cheat on Me. You get shit done. Is that what you did?
Yeah, and then I
Sammy.
say, why did I cheat on me?
Sammy.
Out of key.
How would you like to move on to frustration? Hey, he does do that. Good for you.
Thank you. I know this album. I listened to it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
other than the main verse riff, which I kind of dug, I thought this song was trash. Like a complete turd. It's a very strange lyric.
This made me remember all of those dads of my friends who would give me a hard time for listening to rap music in like the 80s and 90s. And they'd be like, it's so stupid. It's just people talking over music. No, guy, this song is just somebody talking over music.
I hope those dads are listening right now. Suck it.
Yeah.
Dude, you're not wrong. It's weird. It's perverse. It's uncomfortable. It's not art to me, man. It's just awful. I know people are like, you just don't get Lou Reed. Dude, the things he's saying are so twisted and so perverse. And I mean, they're not excerpts from a play. They're his own. You know what? The playwright, I can't remember his name, Wedekind, he was actually a controversial playwright.
Okay.
He was known for doing plays and scripts and stuff that were very like perverse and erotic.
So he was the Lou of his time.
Yeah, in Germany.
Yeah.
I guess. So it sounded like you had a lot of positive stuff to say about frustration. Can you elaborate, Sammy? Yeah, it seems like you just were like, man, I can't wait to get to Frustration because it's my favorite, like maybe my favorite song ever.
Yes. Who said that? No. Man.
Okay, so let's go to YouTube comments. Let's see what Kyle J. West 5 years ago has to say.
Come on, Kyle.
I like the way, at one point, the Metallica portion of the song just sort of stops, but Lou Reed just keeps on singing and talking about sperm.
Yeah, Kyle. That was very cool.
Bender Rodriguez 1 year ago says, some art is not for pigs addicted to Katy Perry.
Oh, I see.
Baby, you're fine.
So because I know some Katy Perry songs, that disqualifies me.
Well, you know some LuLu songs now.
I do now.
La Booberlinkin 3 years ago says, ha, I don't know English well, so I enjoying the song.
I'm so glad.
Oh, gosh.
We solved it. This wasn't meant for us. This is meant for people.
If you can speak English,
Who can't speak
this
English.
album's not for you.
Yeah.
Can you crank for me at the loudest you possibly can? Little dog.
I have zero comments about this.
Boring and weird.
I've got nothing.
Some ripping guitar work. That last comment I just made about the guitar work, that was a lie. Dude,
So you never
again,
know, man. You really.
yeah, again, the lyrics on this were so uncomfortable for me to listen to. I don't even want to actually recite any of them because they're just
Yeah.
like they may have been more uncomfortable than the Colored Man's that you mentioned earlier. Which is, yeah, okay, let's just go to Sci-Fi Weekly 1 year ago. He says, a true masterpiece, greatest song ever made.
Then the fans go, that was awesome.
Right?
Yeah. That's what they were hoping would happen.
But that's got to be a Lou Reed fan, right? I don't know. Metallica aren't even doing anything in that song. Freaking hell. Sarasota 1 year ago says, I'm the only one who likes this.
You're right, Sarasota.
Joshua Rader, 6 days ago.
Why? No.
This whole album is like nails on a chalkboard. I was excited when I seen the collaboration, but not when I heard it.
Don't pay any attention to what that guy said on that post. It's okay.
Kirk, good for you.
Good for you, Kirk.
I feel like I could have done that in like a Robert Shaw impression. And this whole album is like nails on a chalkboard. I was excited when I seen the collaboration. Like a shark's eyes, black and lifeless like a doll's eye. I feel like I could have done that. Well, let's recover
That's
from
genius.
that and do Dragon. This mess is over 11 minutes long as well.
Dragon.
Yeah.
I think it corroborates the theory that Lou Reed hates breasts. But
I'm sorry, did you say breasts?
yeah,
Like boobies?
like boobies.
You don't think Lou Reed like bitties?
I don't think so. He talks about doing a lot of really nasty things to them.
He talks about a lot of nasty stuff on this record.
Yeah, he's still not trying to sing on this one.
Oh,
So-
I felt like he was.
was he trying to sing? Oh, okay.
I felt like that was him trying to sing.
Gotcha.
I feel like Lou Reed's range was probably super limited.
Yes.
And if he tried to sort of, like he knew that was the key that he had to go to, but didn't have the vocal ability to do it. I feel like
He just kept waiting for like Bowie to show up.
maybe,
And like actually hit the note.
maybe. And that's interesting you say Bowie because I don't think a lot of people feel like Bowie had range.
What?
And Bowie's voice. I mean, because he had a really low voice, even his speaking voice and everything. But when he sang, like that guy could hit anything on the scale. Like Bowie, gosh, I'm gonna tear up if we talk about Bowie. Dragon. So over 11 minutes long. Takes nearly 3 minutes for the band to finally kick in. Once they do, I actually don't mind the lick. That I don't mind that at all. It's not a classic level like Metallica riff, but it definitely showcased.
We're not talking sad, but true.
Yeah, it was definitely where their guitar work was at this point in their career. Most of these, I feel like, were probably leftovers from the Death Magnetic record, which came out 3 years earlier.
Yeah.
So they're way past writing any truly great Metallica songs at this point. Even if you hear Hardwired to Self-Destruct, which is their newest album, which is a couple years old now anyway.
I liked it.
It is good, but it's not like classic. Like there's no really great songs in there. I think it'll probably be a Metallica album that a few years from now, they probably won't play much from that record live. They'll still be doing Creeping Death, and they'll still be doing this stuff. Did you have anything to elaborate on Dragon?
Nothing.
Didn't do much for me. So David Oliver 3 years ago says, Lou Reed, the man who started rap, if you think about it.
The man who started rap, if you think about it.
What do you got to say about that, Sammy? Sammy Elizabeth Atwood. It's your middle name, right? Am I even close?
No, you're really not.
Okay. The man who started rap, if you think about it, though. You got to think about it. Have you thought about it yet?
Oh, I got to think about it.
You haven't thought about it yet?
I need some more time to think about that one.
Yeah.
Because that one makes no sense.
No?
No.
Okay. Dennis Engbretson 2 years ago. Masterpiece. The greatest thing they've ever done. Forever hail Lou and Lars.
I feel like he's being facetious.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that can be real.
Okay.
Could that be real?
Yes. Dude, the YouTube comments on this have been kind of strange.
So it's one thing for somebody to be like, okay, you guys don't get it. All right, they could really believe that.
But we've had a couple that say this is a
isn't
masterpiece.
that bad. Okay, you can convince yourself of that.
Masterpiece.
But for somebody to
Greatest
say
thing they've ever done.
Masterpiece.
What about Guy saying this is better than Lateralis from Tool?
Yeah, no, exactly. That can't.
You think that guy's making fun?
That can't be real. Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
Man,
It can't be real.
I take everything literally. I'm such a fool. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Maybe they're.
You're probably. You know what? Maybe you're right. Are you? Wait a minute. Are you giving people the benefit of the doubt?
I kind of am.
I think YouTube has proven that people suck. Rajo P, 2 years ago. As soon as I have finished listening to this album, I'm going to listen to Boyfriend by Justin Bieber because my ears and brains need rest. This makes my brains to be liquid.
Don't pay attention to that post. It's okay.
Kirk, the voice of reason.
Yeah.
God, that guy's voice just comforts me.
It does. Yeah, it does have it.
Kirk Hamster.
The hamster.
Junior Dad. This is it. We made it to the end.
There we go.
So it's a droning 19.5-minute piece. I actually like the uplifting and hopeful feel to the track. It's obviously not necessary for it to be 20 minutes long.
No.
But it's probably the only one I can stand because there's very little of Reed's vocals on it. He's very sparse on this one.
Yeah.
So over half of the 20-minute length is just instrumental. Mm-hmm. It plays 3 chords over and over and over
Definitely
again.
unnecessary instrumental, but
Yeah. If you tune out and just let it wash over you, it's actually quite beautiful.
Yeah, and you know what? My favorite part of this track, his humming.
Yeah.
It like affected me, like in a really like positive way. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that sounds so good. Like with the track.
Now, if that does that, if that did that for you, do you think there is even like an inkling that the fact that Lou Reed, rest in peace, he's gone, does that have something to do with it?
No.
So if he was still around, you think that's still...
I think so.
Because I feel like the fact that he's gone is a lot of fans going back and sort of going, oh, bless him. That's sort of his last sort of hurrah.
Maybe somewhere subconsciously, but...
That's what I mean, yeah.
Maybe. But I just...
I'm with you.
That legit affected me. Like,
yeah, this song was beautiful, I thought.
It was.
Yeah. I didn't think any of the lyrics... The lyrics didn't bug me, and I actually like Junior Dad. I actually think that's great. I like the title.
As like a
lyric and a title and everything, and, I didn't mind the lyric at all. Mm-hmm. And...
That's the one that they talk about in interviews. They mention that. So, like, I think I came across Kurt and James both referencing that song. Like, when people say, like, so, Lulu, like, expecting them to be like, yeah, what are you going to do? But they're not. And they always go to Junior Dad, which is a good move because if someone listens to that
You can't defend Puppy Blood.
No, you can't be like
Puppy Blood.
Listen to
What-
Puppy Blood.
What do you guys have against puppies?
You got Master of Puppies.
Master of puppies.
and
Ride
you
the
got-
puppies.
Ride-
Kill all the puppies.
So yeah,
Reload the puppies.
So I also watched them do a live set.
Yeah.
on German TV.
I didn't mind that either.
And it was interesting because at the end of it, he's like visibly
Emotional. Yeah.
and he says like, "Wow, that was a thrill" or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a nice moment.
Yeah, it is.
So-
I definitely think that. I mean, it's not a Metallica song, and it's not a Lou Reed song, but I definitely feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, something like this doesn't exist without those 5 guys in a room together.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It didn't bother me at all. Celestial Woodway 5 years ago says, I don't know. I know a lot of open-minded people who simply find this album to not be very good.
Wow.
Yeah.
What makes you feel like you need to write that?
I know.
Like put
I
that
know.
out in the
I know.
universe.
I know we were talking about this earlier, but
That's
I've
amazing.
never put a negative YouTube comment.
But
ever.
that's not even like if you're gonna be
Yeah,
like
I guess
all
it's
the
not-
way negative.
yeah, I guess it's not
or
negative.
all the way positive. But like to just be, I don't know.
I don't know. It's pretty shit.
There's some people who like
Right.
usually like weird things and they don't like this. The end.
Sure.
Like,
yeah, and I mean,
really?
going through YouTube comments for this album was definitely more divisive. Because like with the Van Halen record, it was really hard to find anybody bashing that album, other than the How Many You Say I track. And then for the Nos record, like I couldn't find any negative stuff about Nostradamus. And this one was definitely more like, I'm guessing the Metallica fans are tearing it down. And then the Lou Reed fans are going, what are you guys talking about? This is what Lou Reed is about, and this is great. But hey, Ware Fair 6 years ago says, I don't listen to Bruno Mars.
Come on. Are you serious? What's his name?
Ware Fair?
Wayfarer.
Sure.
Sure. I like you.
6 years ago.
I like you. Let's just hate on Bruno together.
Bruno's so talented, and
too
we hate him.
talented.
And finally, Plastic Rock 9 months ago says, all capitals, come back, Pearl Jam. And on that note,
Yes.
that's our track-by-track review of Metallica and Lou Reed's LuLu.
So let us know if hearing these track by tracks make you want to actually go back and listen to the whole album yourself.
Okay,
Because I'm interested to know
I've
that.
got my answer. Well,
We've been living with this album for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm ready to
Because back
put
in
it away.
back in 2011, when I first heard it, I didn't listen to it again. I never went back to it. I'm an enormous Metallica fan.
Yeah.
Even when I sort of like as a Metallica fan, or I love Megadeth and stuff, I'll go through their discography at least once a year. I'll pick bands and I go through their entire discography. I'm a completist. I love once I get into a band, I got to have everything by them. So I usually skip the LuLu record. I'll put on some kind of Monster and but LuLu, man, it's a tough one for me. So I want to go through our point system with you real quick.
Yes.
There is 10 songs on the record.
Yes.
So obviously our point system isn't 1 out of 10, but it can be on this one because there's 10 songs on the record. So out of 10, what would you give it, Sam?
I'm going to give it 1.5.
All right. Where's your half coming from?
Just for
just respect?
Just for the effort.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah. So I give
E
them
for
1
effort.
for Junior Dad and a half for, maybe various parts where there's a cool riff or something.
Right. Yeah.
How about
I'm probably going to give it a 2
Oh, okay.
because 1 point for just the balls it took to do this. And you got to give Metallica that.
Yeah.
For everything they've ever done in their career, they've always done it for them. And it's something that they wanted to do. As much as, there are several issues with this record that, they've got the punk attitude of we don't care, we do what we want. You can't predict what we do, like Jason Newsted says in the year and a half in the life of documentary. But there definitely should have been some speaking up from the bands, producers, anybody about some of Lou's lyrics and how offensive they could be. We've already gone over a couple of them. So, but 1 point for respect of having the balls to do it, and then probably a half a point for Junior Dad. It's 20 minutes long, so
Yeah.
you out of your mind. And then a half a point for there's some legitimately really good riffs
Yeah.
on this record that I would have been so curious to know what James would have done with them,
Right.
with his lyrics and his singing, and did a proper Metallica thing, a Metallica record or recording or an EP or something. Because some of the riffs are really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 2.
Okay.
So we already know the answer to would you listen to this album again?
Yeah.
I don't think either of us would.
No.
Especially after having to dig so deep and really listen to it, obviously, several times. And I'm so sorry about that, my friend. But give me a recommendation for Metallica. Give me a recommendation for Lou Reed. So give me a recommendation for Lou Reed. You want to introduce somebody to Lou Reed and say, hey, if you're not too familiar with Lou Reed, go for this record.
Transformer all day.
Clearly, it's Transformer.
Yeah,
I would
Transformer.
say any of the probably 3-4 early Lou Reed records. But
Yeah.
Transformer's the one.
Yep.
I mean, I think Walk on the Wild Side's its only like charted hit.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was not like a singles guy.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
yeah. So even if you listen to like the best of Lou Reed, it'll have Satellite and stuff on it. But
Perfect
Walk on the
Day.
Wild Side is like the obvious sort of single, and everything else is sort of just nonsense with him singing out of key constantly his entire career. So I think the man was tone deaf, and dude, kudos.
Yeah.
He died a millionaire and a popular legendary music guy who couldn't sing to save his life. So good for him.
Yeah.
Metallica.
One album to start somebody off?
I don't know. I know Metallica's interesting because some Metallica fans are so they go for the Burton trilogy, and you're not allowed to do anything other than the Burton trilogy.
Yep.
And anything after that is like you're not a true Metallica fan.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can do like, okay, one album from each phase if you wish, but if you had to pick like this is Metallica at their best, this is the best way to introduce someone to Metallica, what album are you going with?
That's really hard.
Yeah, because for you it was Load. You were
For me,
maybe
that was my
familiar with
introduction, yeah.
probably For Whom the Bell Tolls, stuff like that would have been on rock radio or something, right?
No, you know what? I don't think so.
Fade to Black, nothing like that?
No, and
Wow,
which
interesting.
but so I don't know if it's just because you
Four
just
Horsemen,
mentioned-
Seek and Destroy. You didn't know any of those songs
I
on
don't
like
thi- I
the
don't
riff
think I
and
did.
stuff.
I really don't think I did. I don't know,
wow.
but maybe I just have bad memories. A long time.
That's okay, but I understand. Like in the last episode, we discussed how 80s hip hop,
Yeah.
and then in the 90s, you weren't listening to Metallica, you were listening to U2.
and other things, but yeah,
Other things, yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
No,
Just
U2
U2.
only. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe Ride the Lightning.
Okay.
I love that record so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Like I love that whole album.
Yeah.
So maybe that, I guess. How about you?
For me, Lou Reed, I would say any of those early records.
Yeah.
Going back and listening to the Velvet Underground, I didn't get it. I didn't care for it. Even like White Light, White Heat and stuff. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't care for it. I know there's supposed to be like legendary things, and like Bowie would cover White Light, White Heat in his early days with the Spiders from Mars and stuff.
You just made me remember actually the first time I heard Lou Reed properly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I totally forgot about this.
Lay it
to
on me,
this-
sister.
To this second. I think whenever the Doors movie came out, do you remember that year?
Oliver Stone's The Doors with Val Kilmer.
So
Yeah, that's early 90s, I think. Yeah.
So I remember being a kid, maybe like grade 5 or something, I don't know, and going to a friend's house, and his probably older sister had the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And on that soundtrack was Heroin. And
Okay.
he played it for me. He's like, I want to play you this song. And he like, this song, you need to hear this song. He played me 2. He played me The End by The Doors, which was crazy because it was all like, I want to kill my father and I want my mother. And he played me Heroin. And I just remember being like, what is happening right now? Because I was probably just listening to like Young MC and
Jim Morrison?
and Hammer.
He's a drunken buffoon posing as a poet.
But
Give
yeah,
me the Guess Who.
got the courage.
Got the courage
Yeah.
to be drunken buffoons, which makes them poetic.
But yeah, I remember hearing Heroin
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the Velvet Underground and being like, this is crazy. That's the first time I ever heard it. So yeah, the Velvets.
And Heroin's a long track too.
Yeah, very long, drony, obviously.
Yeah.
But and then Sweet Jane, the cover of Sweet Jane, I would have heard when I was young too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so for Lou Reed, it's those early records. And then Metallica. Yeah, Metallica's tough because when I put on Kill 'Em All now, and I do have a copy of like, is it No Life Till Leather? Yeah, which was that mixtape that was being passed around before Kill 'Em All. And what's really cool about that, and I have a copy of it, because my Uncle Tony was able to, he's got like a legit copy of it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Shout out to Uncle Tony.
Yeah. Shout out to Uncle Tony. Yeah. And another really cool thing is the early footage of Metallica's interviews and stuff, and Mustaine's still in the band wearing like Venom t-shirts and stuff. So that's really cool.
That's so cool.
Now that wasn't the lineup that Tony was in, but Tony would go on to be in Venom, and he's hung out with James and stuff like that.
For real?
Yeah, I got pictures. There's pictures of Tony Dolan's Facebook, man. Go on there, Demolition Man, and him having a drink with James. Like it's pretty wild. It's pretty cool. But so when I listen to Kill 'Em All, there's something in particular about the energy and that hunger. And I mean, James is a kid. Yeah. His voice is so young. You hear how young he is and how hungry and passionate he is. And
can we just say, as a singer,
okay,
how old would he have been when he did Kill 'Em All? Like they were like 18 or something?
They were young. You know what? I'm not sure.
But how do you get from that voice to like the mighty Hetfield that we know?
By the time we got to the Black Album, and Bob Rock was really producing him too, because he'd lost his voice right during the Black Album, and he had to get some lessons and stuff.
Yeah.
There's footage of him doing that and doing vocal exercises, which he had never done before. But yeah, that's amazing. But I mean, you name a singer, name Bono, who. You know, Bono's voice changed like drastically.
Kind of matures,
from Boy to Unforgettable Fire.
Yeah, and that's another band that started when they were 18.
Sure. So Bono on Boy is not singing Pride in the Name of Love. It took time, it took tours, it took maturity to get there.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Kill 'Em All, James isn't doing Enter Sandman, right? So the biggest thing that stands out for me on Kill 'Em All is Kirk. Okay. And I feel like Kirk never played like that again.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not knocking it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like he had something to prove. Definitely in the metal circles, Mustaine was like people were Mustaine fans, and they didn't like that he was gone. And there was already divisiveness when he left, and he formed Megadeth. People were like, "Well, screw you, Metallica. We're going to follow Dave." It was like that. Like metal.
That's how it went.
Metal fans are really like. You know, even in the Some Kind of Monster documentary, when we finally get that sort of, they're on their couches and stuff, and Dave and Lars are talking. Dave's talking, like, even today, all these years later, it's over, and people still come up to me and go, Metallica, and try and, like, taunt him and get him. It's like, it really is, like, metal fans can be pricks, man. Like, really protective and really sort of, you know? Yeah. So there's something about Kirk, he had something to prove.
Okay.
And he rips. It's his guitar tone. It's the way he digs in. It's the ferocity in his playing. And I feel like he never really played like that again. And even if he played like that, the production value wasn't so raw. Like Kill 'Em All to Lightning. Like Lightning is way more polished. And then Puppets is way more polished. Like Lars even used Rick Allen's snare drum on Master of Puppets, because back then Pyromania was the album, and everybody wanted their drums to sound larger than life.
Wow.
So Lars used that Rick Allen snare drum to get that for that Puppets record.
Yeah.
In a thrash metal arena, right? It doesn't sound like Pyromania or Photograph or something. Yeah. It sounds just huge though. So for me, it's like, you got to start at Kill 'Em All just to hear where this band came from. I don't think Load is a good idea, as great as Load is. And I don't think starting them off with Justice is a good idea, because then Cliff's not there. And then the Black Album isn't true Metallica really either. Like, it's tough, because
it is tough.
Each album is Metallica, but each album is like, yeah, man, it's
that's the beauty of Metallica.
Yes.
That's why I think they're one of the greats.
Yeah, no question.
That's what makes them one of the greats.
Yeah.
And if we can discuss Lars a bit.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned with Metallica, you could close your eyes and point to the Metallica map.
I like
and
that.
wherever your finger lands,
like
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If it lands on LuLu, just close your eyes and do it again.
Yeah.
But the Burton trilogy is
can't go
it's
wrong.
phenomenal. And I mean, after Cliff, God rest him, passed away, they did an EP to introduce Jason.
Yeah.
And the bass is up in the mix and the tone is there. So I never really understood the Justice mix.
Yeah.
I guess it's a whole other discussion that we could get into about there being no bass guitar on that record.
And they know that.
And they know that, and it was done on purpose. Because if you go on YouTube, listening audience, if you guys want to go on YouTube and check up on Steve Thompson, who mixed the record, he tells a story about how Lars kept coming in and going lower, like mix it lower, bring it down, whatever dB, and he never understood why. Like,
And that's got to be so frustrating for him because his name's on that. As
his
the
name's
guy
on
who
it.
mixed it.
Yeah.
And it's just,
as angry and as ferocious Justice is, there's no bass tone other than the lower end of the guitars. There's no bass guitar on that, so Jason's just. Yeah, it's an album he never felt good about. And I mean, a lot of people, I think fans fill in the blanks and go, well, that was their tribute to Cliff. Right? Cliff was gone, and so their next album wasn't going to have any bass on it because
which is ridiculous.
That was
but-
like AC/DC's Back in Black was their tribute to Bon. But they didn't put This Is for Bon anywhere on the record, right? It was black, it was in the morning. The album opens with the bell and everything. It's like the funeral and everything like that. So, but it's bullshit as far as I'm concerned because the first thing they ever put out with Jason was the EP.
That's a good
And
point.
his
I never thought of that.
And his bass tone is nice and hot on there, and his bass playing is great.
Yeah, I never thought.
So I don't know why they did that on the Justice album. But anyway, let's talk about Lars, man, because I am a Lars defender to the bone.
Me too.
Thank you. Bless
And
you.
I feel
Cheers.
like-
Newcastle Brown Ale. Cheers.
Cheers, brother. So I feel like Lars got this project the best out of all of them. And what I mean by that is he took the opportunity. He was like, hey, we're doing this experimental record.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna go for it. And so you made the joke at one point, like Lars just fell off his drum stool or whatever, and dropped a stick.
Some of the fills, yeah.
I kind of love that. I kind of
Yeah.
love that he was like, when am I going to get a chance to just go da-da-da-da in the middle of a verse
Never,
or whatever?
never. It'll never happen.
I'm going
Yeah.
for it on this. And I feel like if they all went for it,
Okay.
it might have made even less sense, or they might actually hit the genius that they were kind of hoping would happen.
Do you think they, like, if the rest of the band had followed his lead and met Lou Reed in the middle and been a little bit more less Metallica?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
trying to marry Lou Reed with this like thrashy,
Tight. Right? Yeah.
band,
Yeah.
like it didn't make sense, and it was like, okay, you're already doing something that's you're really pushing it
Sure.
here, and this is an old Lou Reed as well, like.
Yeah, near the end of his life.
If he was
That's for
ever
sure.
gonna like keep up with a metal band, it's
It wasn't
not
now.
now.
Yeah.
So I feel like cool, do something with Lou Reed, but maybe let it be a little weirder. I thought maybe it'd be cool if they just kind of tried to redo old Velvet Tunes or whatever, but then I heard them do White Light, White Heat, and it wasn't good. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, no, that wasn't an option.
Okay.
But maybe they could have done something different,
Yeah.
and it would have been Metallica and Lou Reed. It wouldn't have sounded like Metallica or Lou Reed.
Mm.
It wouldn't have sounded like Lou Reed's trying to be the lead singer of Metallica, which is kind of what they just fell upon.
Yeah.
So I feel like Lars had the right. He was kind of going, the things he was trying, I just wish everybody would have tried things.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with all that. And Lars gets a lot of flack about his playing. Lars gets a lot of flack for doing the whole Napster thing. I don't know, man.
Can I just say too about that?
Yeah.
One of the things that I find super ironic about the Napster thing is I don't think go on YouTube or go on the internet and look for bands interacting with fans or whatever, and you will never find a band that's put themselves online more than Metallica has. Like these guys have opened up their whole lives for their fan base. Almost every album since the Black Album has some kind of behind the scenes documentary of the recording.
Yeah.
They have so it is just really ironic that.
Do you want to play that game?
Can you start?
Do you want me
Because
to
I got to
start?
think about this one.
Okay. For the weakest link, I'm going to go for the obvious. And that is Kirk. No. Weakest link, man. I got to give it to Lou Reed.
Okay.
I would happily listen to, probably not often, but I would probably happily listen to these 10 songs as instrumentals.
Yeah.
Lou Reed ruins the album for me. It's not just the sound of his voice, because that's quite awful, and it's tone deaf, and it's whatever. We did make the point that he's later on in his life.
Yeah.
But I've studied the man's catalog, and he never had a great singing voice anyway.
Yeah.
But the lyrics are really controversial and uncomfortable for me as well.
Yeah.
I've got a big problem with a lot of the things that he's talking or singing about. So for me, it's Lou Reed. I know you mentioned like, yeah, but the guys could have been like, hey, could you not say that? And they didn't. Maybe they were afraid to tell Lou Reed no good.
Yeah. So I have a theory.
Ooh.
Actually,
I'm listening.
I have a lot of theories.
Okay.
But here's a theory. Metallica making albums in 4s.
Okay.
So we call it the Burton Trilogy, but if you take Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice.
Okay.
And
Those
then
are
you've got
the thrash records, right?
the
The 80s.
the Black Album, Load, Reload, and Garage Inc. I'm not including S&M. Then you've got Death Magnetic, LuLu, Hardwired, and Saint Anger.
Saint Anger, yeah.
Which means we now
Are entering a new phase.
should be entering into a new phase of Metallica.
What are they going to do?
I wish I could be involved because I got some ideas.
They're
really,
going to do
really
now
do.
with Timbaland? Is that what you're...
I want
Timberland.
I want an album out of Metallica that we haven't heard yet. And
Well, you're going to get that because they always do that. That's for sure.
I want it to be, what I want them to do is production wise, I want to hear something new. I want to hear.
I'll just text Eddie and see if he's got Lars's number.
Oh yeah,
I'll
because
hook you guys
we
up.
already hooked up Eddie with his next 5 years.
His SoundCloud.
Right. So I want to hear Lars's kick, but I want to hear the whole band produced in a way that isn't, because I feel like when they went back to sort of the Saint Anger, Death Magnetic stuff, things got really tinny again.
Yeah.
And I don't
They
know if
weren't
that's just
warm anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just a function of like the kind of thrashiness.
Sure.
I feel like there's got to be a way to be able to have that kind of energy, even those kinds of riffs, but to have the production value and not necessarily what Bob Rock did. Like, I really want them to go out there and really try to figure that
You're not
bit
wrong
out.
because guys today are still trying to do what Bob Rock did with like Lars's kit.
Yeah.
In particular.
Yeah.
Which is why it was so interesting to have the same guy do Saint Anger.
Yeah.
Who turned off the snare. Or I think Lars accidentally did it and they liked the sound. So they tuned it like as high as it would go and then turned it off, which is why you get that ping.
Yeah. I wasn't mad at that. I like that. Maybe don't use it the whole album.
There was a lot of people that did like it and a lot of people that didn't. Tony, my uncle Tony was one of the guys. He's a Saint Anger defender. Yeah. He loves that record. And I'm not necessarily there. There's moments that I do like it. The drums don't bother me too much, but that's just another one of those interesting, controversial sort of decisions that this band makes. I'm with you on like the next phase of Metallica is coming. You know what I would really like?
Yes.
Is a bass-heavy record.
Yes.
Because Robert Trujillo is a phenomenal bass player. Probably technically speaking, just as talented and if not more than both Cliff and Jason. Jason played with a pick, but you know what I mean? So like even in the Some Kind of Monster, Robert Trujillo was the first bass player to audition where they were like, he was playing all Cliff stuff with his fingers, just like Cliff used to. Yeah. So that's what they were really excited about. And that's awesome and that's great. I've seen Robert Trujillo. He played with Zach Wild's band at Harpo's here in Detroit. So I got to see Robert.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's a ridiculous bass player and he has not been showcased one iota since he joined the flipping band.
I agree.
There's no bass that's like, oh, that's a cool lick. Or like give me a bass heavy album.
Yes.
Maybe introduce like industrial sort of kind of sounds or loops or things like this. You can still have that mighty Hetfield wall of sound.
Yes.
Let Kirk go abstract. Let him do,
And
I
here's
think
the thing.
Kirk said all he could say as far as thrash metal lead guitar is concerned.
Yeah, and
He's not breaking any new rules there.
I'm with you 1,000%, dude. We need to produce the next Metallica.
We need to
record.
produce
I'm
the next
telling you,
Metallica record.
It needs to be produced, and it'd be bass heavy.
We would get death threats, just like Lou Reed got after this album. Metallica fans were sending him death threats.
That's all right. I think we could do it. I think it'd be amazing. And here's the thing, and this is my sum up for Metallica.
Okay.
And for this record.
Yes.
You don't get the Black Album.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get Load. You don't get even Kill 'Em All without a LuLu.
Mm.
Without the mentality of these musicians who say, we are just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
Even when they were kids.
When they were kids, they had it.
Yeah.
When they were wildly successful, they still had it. Yeah. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
Most people don't, even when they're young and pushing boundaries, when they get a certain level of success and comfort, they dead that right away.
Yeah.
The fact that they keep it going and they would make a record like this and release it, I love them for it.
Yeah.
And anybody who thinks that they're dumb for it or whatever, you wouldn't get your favorite Metallica if you don't get LuLu.
Exactly. I agree with everything there. There's massive respect for Metallica for everything they've ever done. LuLu is garbage.
Trash.
It just is. It's just
absolute
trash.
trash.
And I respect Lars for recently putting out I put the record on the other day for my kids and we loved it and it sounds great and we're proud of it. And good for Lars.
That's awesome.
Because I respect that he did that.
Yeah.
And because it's not good. So anyway, you got anything to add, man? Metallica, huge fan. Lou Reed, meh. I'm probably never really going to visit any Lou Reed or Velvet Underground anytime soon.
That's funny because I realized just how much I love
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yes.
Say hi to your mom for me, okay?
Yeah. Good vibrations. I didn't realize how much I love
New Kids on the Block.
Two Lou Reed songs. Love them.
Satellite of Love.
And Perfect Day.
Good for you.
I love those songs.
Yeah.
Really, really love them. But anyway.
That whole album is actually really good.
It is a good album.
I do recommend Transformer for sure. But Berlin was good. And self-titled Lou Reed was very good too. So anyway, we've been Check the Credits. Thank you for joining us for our track-by-track review, our in-depth review of Metallica and Lou Reed's collab album, LuLu.
Peace.
Thank you. Good night.
You have recently enjoyed a Check the Credits podcast, a program I can only assume you've enjoyed on a radio receiver that would have been at your disposal. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And I have no idea what any of that means because I'm a broadcaster guy from the 1920s. Thank you, and good night.